Planning to visit the United States? Hold on a second. There are 10 things you should avoid doing. We've compiled a list of cultural faux pas that could save you from some awkward situations. From discussing sensitive topics to ignoring tipping etiquette, we've got it all covered. And it doesn't stop there. Let's dive right in and explore these 10 critical tips. First off, avoid discussing sensitive topics like politics and religion. Now, why is that? Well, the United States is a melting pot of diverse cultures, beliefs, and opinions. While this diversity is one of the country's greatest strengths, it also means that people's views on these subjects can vary widely and sometimes passionately. When you're on vacation, you're there to enjoy, relax, and make new friends, not to start heated debates or accidentally offend someone. So, what should you talk about instead? There's a myriad of safe topics you can explore. Discussing local cuisine, sites, sports, or even the weather are all great ways to spark a conversation. Americans are known for their friendly and open nature, so feel free to ask about local attractions or recommendations for places to visit. Remember, it's always safer to stick to neutral topics. This way, you can enjoy your trip without stepping on any toes. Secondly, never disrespect cultural differences. The United States is a melting pot of cultures, each one unique and celebrated in its own right. Whether it's the vibrant Latino influences in the South, the deep-rooted Native American traditions in the Midwest, or the bustling urban cultures in the cities, each one has its own charm and uniqueness. It's important to approach these cultural differences with respect and curiosity, not with judgment or derision. Remember, these cultures are not tourist attractions. They are people's lives, their histories, and their identities. When you're visiting a place, you're stepping into their world. So take off your shoes, as it were, and step lightly. Ask questions, learn, and embrace the differences. It's an opportunity to expand your horizons and understand the world from a wider perspective. After all, travel is about exploration, not just of places, but also of cultures and ways of life. Embrace the diversity, and you'll have a more enriching experience. Thirdly, never ignore the tipping etiquette. In the United States, tipping is not just a nice gesture, but an essential part of many service workers' income. It's a way of showing your appreciation for good service, and it's a practice that's deeply ingrained in the culture. Whether you're dining at a restaurant, getting a haircut, or riding in a taxi, a tip is expected. The standard rate is usually 15 to 20% of your total bill. So if you've enjoyed a lovely meal that cost $50, you should plan to leave a tip of $7.50 to $10. Now, if the service wasn't up to par, it's acceptable to tip a bit less. But remember, many service workers rely heavily on tips to make ends meet. So when you're visiting the United States, be aware of this practice and factor it into your budget. So don't forget those tips. Fourthly, avoid jaywalking. Now you might be wondering, what's jaywalking? Well, it's crossing the street at any place other than the crosswalks or intersections. It's a common practice in some countries, but here in the United States, it's a big no-no. Most cities in the US enforce jaywalking laws quite strictly, and if you're caught jaywalking, you could be fined. But more importantly, jaywalking can be dangerous. In a bustling city with fast-moving traffic, crossing the road arbitrarily can put you at risk. You don't want your vacation marred by an unnecessary accident, do you? Instead, always use the designated crosswalks or intersections. Wait for the signal to change and cross when it's safe. It might take a few extra seconds, but it's worth it for your safety. And hey, it's also a great way to soak in the local sights while you wait. Stay safe and use designated crossings. Fifthly, avoid being loud in public. In the United States, it's considered good manners to keep your voice down and avoid creating unnecessary noise. This doesn't mean you need to whisper, but maintaining a moderate volume is generally appreciated, especially in places like restaurants, buses, or trains. It's all about respecting the space of others around you. Public decorum in America values the peace and quiet. It's not just about being polite, it's about creating a welcoming environment for everyone. So if you're enjoying a lively conversation with friends, be mindful of your volume. You wouldn't want to disturb others around you, right? Furthermore, remember that this standard extends to your devices. Keep your phone on silent or vibrate mode in public places. And if you're listening to music, use headphones. It's all about creating a harmonious environment for everyone to enjoy. In conclusion, when in America, respect the peace and quiet. Next, don't forget to recycle. It's no secret that the United States is a big country with a big population, and with that comes a lot of waste. But the good news is, Americans are also big on recycling. It's a simple act that goes a long way in reducing waste, conserving natural resources, and protecting the environment. Recycling bins are a common sight in public spaces, from parks to shopping malls, and even in hotels. They're usually color-coded, making it easy to separate your plastic, paper, and glass. But remember, not everything can be recycled. Look out for signs or symbols on the packaging to know what goes where. And it doesn't stop there. Many cities in the US have composting programs for organic waste. It's all about being mindful of what we're throwing away and where. So, whether you're enjoying a picnic in Central Park or sipping on a latte in Seattle, remember to recycle. Remember, every bit counts. Another tip, avoid using your phone at the table. This is a common courtesy that's often overlooked. You see, in the United States, it's considered rude to use your phone while dining. Whether you're in a high-end restaurant or grabbing a quick bite at a street-side food truck, the principle remains the same. It's a time to savor the food, engage in conversation, and appreciate the company you're with. Imagine this for a moment. You're sharing a meal with someone who's constantly checking their phone, scrolling through social media, or even taking calls. It can be quite off-putting, right? It sends the message that they would rather be somewhere else, doing something else. It's a subtle way of saying, "You're not that important to me." So, when you're in the United States, remember to put your phone away during meals. It's a small act that speaks volumes about your respect for others. Enjoy your meal and the company around you. Also, don't forget to say please and thank you. This might sound simple, but it's a crucial element of American culture. You see, in the United States, politeness isn't just a formality. It's a way of showing respect and appreciation. It's woven into the very fabric of everyday interactions, from ordering a cup of coffee to asking for directions. In fact, these two phrases, please and thank you, are among the first words parents teach their children. They're seen as the cornerstone of good manners, an indication of one's character. So, whether you're at a bustling city diner or a quiet country store, remember to use them generously. And it's not just about the words themselves, but the spirit behind them. It's about acknowledging the effort someone has made on your behalf, no matter how small. So go ahead, embrace the American way of politeness. A little courtesy goes a long way. Lastly, avoid assuming all Americans are the same. This is a common mistake made by many visitors. The United States is a country of vast diversity and cultural richness. From the bustling cities of the East Coast to the laid-back vibe of the West Coast, from the southern charm of the Deep South to the rugged individualism of the Midwest, each region has its own unique culture and identity. The United States is also a melting pot of cultures from around the world. It is home to people of all races, religions, and backgrounds. So, if you're visiting, don't expect to meet the same type of American everywhere you go. One might be a tech-savvy entrepreneur from Silicon Valley, another a cowboy from Texas, and yet another a jazz musician from New Orleans. This incredible diversity is part of what makes America such an interesting and dynamic place to visit. So, keep an open mind, embrace the differences, and explore the many faces of America. Remember, America is a melting pot of cultures. So those were the 10 things to avoid when visiting the United States. Let's take a quick breather and jog our memories. Firstly, steer clear of discussing sensitive topics. It's always wise to tread lightly around subjects like politics or religion, as they can lead to heated debates. Secondly, respect the cultural differences. The USA is a melting pot of cultures, and each one deserves its due respect. Thirdly, don't ignore the tipping etiquette. When in doubt, a 15 to 20% tip is a safe bet. Fourthly, avoid jaywalking. It's not just dangerous, but it's also illegal in many places. Fifthly, try not to be loud in public. It's considered impolite and can disturb others. Sixthly, don't forget to recycle. Americans take their recycling seriously, so make sure you do your part in keeping the environment clean. Seventhly, avoid using your phone at the table. It's seen as impolite and may disrupt your dining experience. Eighthly, always remember to say please and thank you. Manners matter a lot in the United States. And finally, don't assume all Americans are the same. The country is incredibly diverse, with people from all walks of life. By keeping these 10 points in mind, you can navigate your way around any social faux pas and truly enjoy your American adventure. Keep these tips in mind, and you're sure to have a great trip to the United States.